Morning guys, I'm in the shed, fuel filter and a hacksaw. Stick around and I'll tell you why. Morning guys, back on the truck again. Had a bit of an issue with smoke, like I was on fire, but I realised I'm running on diesel and veg oil mix. So today, after a nice long run yesterday, I'm going to change the fuel filter and we'll see what was inside it, because it isn't pretty. I'll do a genuine cold start first. We've got a camera down here pointing at the exhaust, and let's see what we got. Here we go.
How dare you!
Let's open the barn doors. Look at the horses. Right, there she is. Ticking over nicely. Well, a nice long run yesterday. Couple of circuits of the M60, blast it out. Topped it up with fresh diesel because I had my summer diesel in there, which is a 50-50 mix of oil and diesel, veg oil that is, and it stunk and was a bit smoky. But I've got a bit of an intermittent bounce on tick over every now and then, so it's time to change the filter. So before I do that, take it on and show you how it's done. Fuel filter on the Mazda. Very easy to change. Screwdriver, pair of pliers, 12mm socket and a small 12mm socket. Start off, taking off the pipes. Easy to do, squeeze the clips together, push the pipe away. That pipe too, squeeze the clips together, push the pipes away. It's easy. There you go. Not very high pressured, these pipes, so they don't need really strong clips. On the side you've got electrical connection for your water tester, and you just pull that apart. How do you pull that apart? It's easier said than done, because this one's broken. Like that. One's come in handy, a pair of pliers. And you loosen these two bolts off, the 12mm. 1, 2, that's a loose. You take the smaller ratchet in because it's easier to do like that, and undo the nuts, take them off. That's in the way, put that in your bucket. One nut off. And come on, thank you very much, 2 nuts off. Very easy. Then the filter just lifts out just like that. Let's take it in the shed. It's warm the shed now. Let's take it in the shed. Filter off. Rip it apart. See what's in it. Now you can do this on the truck, because I want to drain it and see what's inside it. Maybe even cut it in half and open it up. We'll do it in the shed. It's a nice clean bucket so we can see what dirt's in it. As you can see, bucket's spotless and clean. But first of all, we start by undoing the water trap. Only hand tight, don't need to be really tight on these. All the diesel will come flying out all over my fingers, but never mind. I've got some soap. Come on. Oh, well, that's not so bad. I don't know if you can see that there, there's not a lot of dirt on that. And inside the filter, to be absolutely fair, not bad neither, it's got bits of flex in it. Not so bad. I need that after. Right, now next thing you've got to do is got to get the filter off the filter housing. You can buy a special spanner which grips the filter and turns it, but I haven't got one of them too tight to buy one, so we'll move that out of the way. Clamp it in the vise. Best tool invented as a big mechanical engineer's vise. Doesn't matter if I crush the filter because I've got a new one to go on. Like that. Quick wipe of the old fingers. And you grab hold of the top and just twist. There you go. That's the top of the filter detached. And now we can see what's in the filter. And we'll cut that open later on and see what's in it. Yeah, that made it interesting. Whoop. Oh, that didn't look so good. Right, now before I put the new one on, I'll just show you what's in that bucket. And now bearing in mind that bucket was spotlessly clean, here's the contents of it. Look at that in the filter. Right, no wonder I was bouncing around on takeover. I'm having camera problems today, so it might look rubbish. There we go. First thing we need to do is take the water trap, which sits obviously at the bottom of the filter, as you can see. Look, a float there connected to a switch, and when you get water in your diesel, that floats up. You get a little sign on your dashboard telling you've got water in. Just undo the tap, which is there, and drain it out. And make sure this is clean before you put it back. And do a quick wipe. It's clean enough for me. Put a new O-ring on it. These come in the filter. That slides down the bottom. Nice and snug. Screws into the bottom of your new filter. Doesn't have to be super tight, just enough to keep a seal. But you do want to put a new gasket on, a new O-ring on every time, because that's where your problems start. Now once you've done that, basically you can just throw it back on the truck. But what I'm going to do, make it easy for me, is fill it with diesel first. So once again, clamp it in the vise, not too tight this time because it's going back on the truck. And I've got some diesel somewhere over there. There we go. Fill it with fresh diesel. Now, as I said before, summertime I run my truck on a mix of vegetable oil and diesel, and it was giving me a bit of a smoke problem because it's not been moved for a while with lockdown. I've not been anywhere, so I've had half a tank of summer diesel sat there for about 3-4 months, and it starts to settle at the bottom and eventually runs on 100% veg oil because it settles out. So we're changing all that, get rid of the smell while it sticks on. And fill up both parts of your filter, inside and outside, like that. Makes it easier to prime the fuel system when you put it back on. And that's nearly full, about a thimble's room at the top. I'm going to employ my old trick. You can go out and you can spend a fortune on fuel injector cleaners. Drop it in your fuel tank and you think, oh, it's great, that's worked wonders. Don't bother, don't waste your money. What you do when you're changing your filters, you get some acetone, nail varnish remover, When you've got your fresh filter on, you're about a thimble full in the diesel, like that. And once you start your engine up, that will clean out your fuel injectors. Won't do any harm, absolutely no harm whatsoever, because that's mainly the content of your Red X petrol cleaner and diesel cleaner. How it works, am I leaking at the bottom there? No, how it works is it raises the octane level of the fuel and cleans out all the pipes. Now once you've got that on, with a quick wipe round the top of the rubber seal, make sure it's clean. With your primary unit, filter top, give that a wipe. Blow through these. I've already done that and it wasn't pleasant. Make sure they're clean. Make sure that surface there is nice and clean. That's clean. Now there we go. And just screw it back on. There you go. Doesn't have to be mad tight. As it says, you might have to change this filter again, and it's reassembly is the opposite of disassembly. So we'll start by checking the wires. Make sure you got the wire at the top. Drop the filter in. Put your wire back in. Top pipe on. Pliers. Pocket. Squeeze the clamp. Push the pipe in. Bottom pipe, which always drops down the bottom. Yes, that's the one. Set that clamp at the top because that's where it's going to be effective. Top. Use the pipe clamp. Push it home and it's in. Don't forget to put the securing nuts on. And there you are, one filter change. Drop that nut down there now. Just going to have to leave with one nut on for now. Retrieve that later. That'll make changing next time quicker. On with the securing nut. Tighten up. And there you have. Filter's been changed. Simple as that. And before you start the engine again, pump the primer a few times until you feel it go hard. Put your own joke in there. This will prime the fuel lines and eliminate all the air bubbles. And once we've done that, start the engine, go for a drive. Let's move the lamp. And once we've got the engine running, you come back out and pump that a few times. Make sure you've got no leaks. And happy days. Nice, let's go for a run. Right, let's chop this baby apart. Several ways you can open a fuel filter. You can use an angle grinder, which is noisy. Just take an hacksaw, slice it over the top. Everything's getting covered in diesel today. Never mind. Right, I wanted to do this because I want to see really how badly clogged it was, because I was getting quite a bit of a tick over issue, so we'll slice it off right at the top. Still. Oh, what, I'll tell you what, not as easy as it looks. Blade in. That's the top off. There. I'm not going to tell a lie. Back out. Always on the out on that. And there we go. The top off the filter. Let's see what we got. We've got the top. Rubber seal goes in the middle. And then it goes like that. Got all the black in there. Wow. That's the fuel system. Click right. Have a look at the filter. There's not much, is it? We'll cut that in half in a minute. Right, don't know how much you can see because the lighting in there is... Let's get you in there so you can see in there. It's criminal, to be honest. Focus. I don't know if you can see that. That's really dark, that. Oh yeah. Big filter, big spring. Yeah, lovely. What's in the bucket? I don't know how much you can see, but that in there. Yeah! Diesel should be clear. That is not really bright yellow with loads of black bits floating in. Part of the contents of the fuel tank. Oh well. Because the consequences of running on vegetable oil is it cleans the pipes and takes all the crap out of the... Well, there you go. Been for a nice trip to Sainsbury's because that's the natural place to take a 4x4 pickup truck. Nice and warm the engine now. We've got a steady tick over between 8 and 900. Nice and civilised, nice and quiet, and no bounce. It's amazing what fresh fuel and a fresh filter can do. Time for a cup of tea now. See you next time, guys.
How dare you!